Isolation. It's strange to think this all started right after we released Silentium. When the world was facing uncertainty, we quietly kept creating new ideas and themes that slowly unraveled and started to take shape to elevate our work as a whole. As a group, it was important to focus on the time we had to make the best out of it and work hard to get things done. But I played in my own echo chamber during that period for too long and entertained thoughts in my head that weren't always going to turn out the way I envisioned it, with what happened in the aftermath. Waking up every morning started to become a struggle very quickly, but my conviction reminded me that I had to be the foundation to complete my own goals and deadlines, and so I did, while doing my best not to adhere to the defeatist attitude that allured me. It wasn't a great period, and I knew that I was already mentally fatigued before the big projects were set in motion, like the new record and the music videos, taking everything on by my own two hands, ignoring the signs and warnings. I always had the notion that if I could not complete it, then it just gets left behind or it won't be worked on. So I had to press forward regardless of the cost, because I was ready to pay the toll. And if only monsters could cross the line, then I was ready to compromise everything to get to that stage without thinking of the consequences out of sheer vanity. For the results that I could showcase were paramount to my personal success, at the behest of setting everything on fire around me, watching the ashes slowly disperse.
I've never recorded music before, so each song had its challenges because I thought it'd be easy recording, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it in like 1 take, 2 takes, but I'm sitting there like for like an hour and I've gotten maybe a line, maybe like 1 section done. I'm like, I'd say I found Axis Loop probably the hardest to record at a lot of them, because I was sitting there for probably hours and not knowing if I've got anything good, just because I'm not sure, because it's got to be obviously perfect, you know. The most fun was probably Tenebris, because it's just a fun riff to play, so it wasn't too hard to record, I don't think. I kind of get into a groove when I'm recording. I would say Carnal was probably one of the harder ones as well, just because there's that intro, like where it's just the guitar, so it's got to be flawless, right? So yeah, that one's probably was up there with like Axis Loop as one of the harder ones, and it's got some technical parts in there as well. So it's, yeah, they all have technical parts, but Carnal's probably one of the more technical ones. As a band, we've got like a very spicy sense of humor. It's almost like no holds barred. The other scenes recording is just like loads of clips compiled into one, no real context, just kind of like all there, right?
Yeah, so that's what we want. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll just like start
That one in the final cut.
Yeah.
Okay, so every time you hear digging balls, that's like cut.
Okay, that's a good cut. Yeah.
Okay.
That would kind of
Like in fucking editing, it's gonna be so dumb.
You know, there's There's a faint line, but nobody really knows where it is. It kind of changes. So, and like nobody is safe, basically. You've got to be able to take a joke. It's only for the moment to keep spirits high, at the expense of one or two people. But it's all in fun, right? Like we're like a family. Like, you know, we'll get in each other's nerves, and we'll say things that annoy each other, just to get a reaction. I'd say that Zephios is like the hardest working member of the band, like bar none. Possibly does too much and doesn't take enough rest when he should. Definitely should get endorsed by Monster Energy, because that's basically like that's his blood, basically. That and coffee. He puts in like an intense amount of work that I tried to match and I just can't even get anywhere near close to it. I thought storyboarding would be easy. Again, it's like that's like the whole trend for this whole album. I thought it was a lot easier to do everything than it is, but it's very much a process. And just when you think you have an idea of what you want to do, you realize that it's either not doable, or too expensive, or would take too much time, or like, you know, the planets would have to align for it to get the shot, and you realize that it's probably not worth it just for like a 10-second clip, you know, when it would be like a lot of planning for that one clip. Asphyxia is almost, I feel like, a transition from the last work, Silentium, some kind of darker place, and it's going into a lighter place, because you can tell from the artwork, like Silentium's a much darker album. Not dark, but like heavier songs on Silentium, and there's still notes of that in Asphyxia. I'd say like Carnal, it's got heavy notes. I'd say even like Tenebra has heavy notes in it, but it does have its uplifting kind of sounds to it. The one light in the darkness, turn back to the light, has kind of become like, yeah, the slogan for the whole album, and it's kind of been something we've been referencing for well over a year now, before it was even announced, I'm pretty sure. I think it's got something to do with, you know, the world has kind of been basically in the pits for the last 2 years, and I feel like it's a reference to the whole pandemic and everything that goes with that. I think it goes hand in hand with the previous work, Silentium, as well, because it's like one light in the darkness. As I said before, like, Asphyxia is a lot more, the album cover is a lot lighter than the Silentium cover, and I feel like that's not where like the birth of the slogan came from, but I think it definitely has links. Yeah, it like kind of like transitions together.
I told you the second it
Yeah.
started.
Gotta be faster.
Ah.
Right.
God, right. I'm just gonna record it from here. Oh man.
So what were you saying? You were gonna say something.
I said I've not got COVID, you don't need to stand away over there.
Oh!
Oh,
no, no.
Good
I
you.
wanna- Where the fuck the shit went? Oh, there.
Well, that's as close as we're gonna get, I think. Oh. Is that okay?
Yep.
Songwriting is really new to me, so writing and creating songs, it's not my strong suit just now, so it's still very much a learning curve, and it doesn't come naturally to me, really, but I do sometimes just get these like bursts of inspiration where something comes up, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna keep this, you know, because it doesn't sound that bad, and I came up with it, you know. I don't know if, like, my brain just sometimes has these, like, eureka moments, and I go with it. Because I'm like, I'm just going to ride this train, basically. But yeah, there's most of the songs, I wasn't too involved in actually writing them, like, composing them. Maybe wrote a couple of lyrics, I can't remember, I can't really recall if I wrote any of the lyrics. Maybe I contribute a little bit towards that. When I was listening to Tenebris and started listening to what was written, it was like, it's just this instant right into it, and it's really catchy, and I was like, yeah, this one, my favourite out of the lot. I have to concentrate when I'm playing it, but it's definitely my favourite on the album. But it was mostly that call and response for Tenebris was what I really was my contribution, my kind of creative part for Asphyxia. Senescent Echoes was, I'd say, was okay, but it's obviously a different process because it's acoustic guitar, so it's different than you have to make sure there's no like string buzz or anything, or try minimalize it, I guess. It has to sound authentic still, but it's more, it feels like the fact they all like interlink together like so well, and individually they're good, but together they're even better. I think it's good composing, and it's a lot different than other stuff that we've done in the past.
I think I've shown you. It's just like you've seen the prototype stand anyway, so this needs to be like kind of like, I wanted like modular, so that the problem with the prototype was when it was like made, it was stuck on, so you can remove it.
So you just have to move it as one thing.
You have to move that, and it's kind of impractical.
Like an art exhibit.
it wouldn't work.
No.
So I thought I'll just try and redo it, but actually have it coil around as well, because I need to figure out a way to have the cable wraps and have this
Kind of hide the wires.
kind of have the whole snakeskin kind of come off and stay on. It's gonna be a bit of a struggle, but I'll find something.
You can also change it off as well, like, you know, it doesn't have to be like, it's not going to be the same each time you wrap it on.
Yeah,
so
it'll be cool as well. Plus, obviously, you can take the stuff out. Got these also, like, they are finally developed. It's pretty cool. It's from the practice thing that we did.
Yeah.
Quite cool.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And the lights are like pretty nice. Mans be mans.
concentration mode. Nice. It's good emotion.
Yeah, it's weird. Like looking back to it, I think it's like really like, who is this?
Yeah, it's like a different person. Like, look at the emotion. Yeah, pouring your heart out.
I would hope so. Just like, just have them all for people to see. So how are you gonna get the checkers on? What do you think? Like, if you wanted to rock it with the checkers.
Well, if I want to make it modular, then I need to do the same kind of thing as what you were doing with like the buttons and stuff. I think.
Yeah, and don't forget that.
Or I might use like Velcro or something. That would work.
Okay,
as well.
yeah, that would work actually. In the center, there's that pole that you need to twist to make it small.
Yeah, so all these
in
come
the
off.
in the first one, I forgot kind of about it. So here, it's like it was basically glued on, so I couldn't like twist it at all.
Yeah. So it's
So I-
stuck as one.
Yeah,
thing.
so I couldn't lower it. So be mindful of the center area. Anything with the hinges as well here, which is the hinge for adjusting.
Yeah, it's got to be
It has
left
to be
a little,
either left or kind of like
a little bit.
you
of
have to
room.
kind of skirt around it.
Yeah.
Else you're gonna be stuck. with
It'd be good to make it look like it was, seamless. Like kind of hide it.
Yeah, but it doesn't always work
Yeah.
like that, unfortunately. Because the design is not like original from mine. It's like it's the same one for Dye from Doing Grey. So yeah, it's like a sneak kind of stand. Obviously, this is custom made. I have the cash for that.
But it's inspired.
Yeah, it's inspired by
off
it.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I want to like make it different, so it's like more mine.
Yeah, it's like your own kind of take on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I kind of like had this drawn up before.
Light's a good idea, especially in like a dark place. It just kind of like adds.
Could have pink like RGB strips or something.
I could have something like that. To be fair.
If it's battery powered, it'd be even easier.
It
Like,
is.
you could just hide the pack like underneath or like away from the view.
Yeah, like under this or something, like under the bottom of the.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had like side by side lights that made a checkered pattern, if I could do that somehow, or just like put tape on the RGB lights or something, so it kind of makes space, and I can make them
You could do that. So if you have like a line, so you know how the LEDs are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like in the sequence.
Yeah.
If you blocked out every second
Every
one,
second one, and then have 2 sets of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then one goes in 1, 3, 5. The other one goes in 2, 4. You'd have the same pattern.
Yeah, that might work better. I might incorporate that with the ribbon.
And it could be underneath the ribbon.
I could light it up. Yeah, it might not even need to get 2. You could just put them underneath both colors or something. This is just to get like a taster of like what I want to.
It's just so we have it like downstairs.
something,
So we could just refer to it if needed. And remember, designs aren't always final. You always like end up changing them, but it gives you at least the idea of like, it needs to kind of at least have a direction of this is how it should be or something.
So it's a guideline.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
You can always change it. Like
exactly.
it's not final yet.
No,
of course. Because
It's
you're always going to find.
It's your stand.
You're always going to find something different that you want to do. That you're like, I didn't draw that on there on the page, but I'll put it on. Because you can put it on the stand. It looks better than drawing it out.
I think as a whole, working with everyone, chemistry is a big part of it. We fill everyone in on what to do, what needs done. It's okay. People have different levels on which they get burnt out, and it's okay because you can't help it, Like, everyone has their own way of doing stuff, and I feel like working and having fun is very important because and we are here to work. You're also here like with your friends, and it's going to be funny, and there's going to be you've got to laugh and joke around, because that keeps morale up, I think. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's been times where I've been like burnt out and maybe feeling guilty that I haven't done something when other people are doing more, and I feel like I could contribute more, but being stuck in that perpetual cycle of feeling like you should be doing more than doing nothing because you're feeling burnt out, and then it's just a vicious cycle. And yeah, that's a mental battle. That is difficult to deal with. But if you've got a good inner circle and you've always got somebody to speak to and they can level with you, it kind of brings you down a little bit. It doesn't make you as intimidated by the whole thing, because it is a lot to take on, and there's a lot that I don't know how to do. I'm not like level 100 sound engineer, you know. I'm probably like I'm like entry level, you know. I'm learning.
Eat cock. At least lick it. That poor guy.
This was a little eggy.
It's fucking eggy. It's good, the whole cake.
It's the protein.
It's a fucking...
How many eggs did you put in this?
Well, I put, so like basically, I think what I did, right, is so see this whole cake, it took like a certain amount. It involved 3 eggs, right? Perfect amount of eggs for that amount. But then when I came making this, I didn't need as much for this as I did for this. But I put 2 eggs in it instead of like 1. I thought the measurement
That's
was
an
a third.
omelette.
Yeah, and I put 2 eggs in it, so it tastes like a fucking omelette.
It's basically like
Yeah,
it's good though.
I'm glad it's that, and not this.